Welcome to our 21st episode of Synchronicity, the podcast where we know that nothing is a coincidence and thus everything is intentional. I am your trippy trip C psychedelic psychopomp Chase Clarence Calloway, aka THT, Tahuti Hermes Trismegistus. You are tapping in to the root of the symmetry. You are tuning in to the mind of Mercury. And this episode is all about you. Yes, you, the listener. You, the very awesome, infinite individual that I am co-creating life with right now. This episode is dedicated to who you are and how you gain true ST ability in who you are. Now, of course, everything that we talk about is basically that, but this episode is dedicated. After we have had our last two episodes about snakes and trees, we're now bringing them together and talking about the you, the S, the T, the U. When you study, all you're doing is learning about doing you, D-Y, S-T-U. You're studying D-Y. Why are you in a body? That's all you're studying. Anytime you're learning anything, anytime you're studying any system, it's only going to be connected to why are you in a body? So when we look at the caduceus, we see that the S is a snake. That's the projection. That's everything with our 19th episode about going out of your space, being able to gather information, being able to go into other realms and realities, being able to join other bodies of water. That's what the snake is. The snake rides a wave, rides a frequency, and speaks itself into existence so that it can see its imagination, making it that number one. So we see that the snake is our ability to speak ourselves into existence and project out. And then we can see with episode 20, the T, our tree, is our ability to reflect on our projections and to actually connect with ourselves and create something more stable, which then represents our soul. And that's why the T is a soul. The S is the body. You have multiple bodies, but all of your bodies only matter because of your one soul. So that's where all of your bodies are your projections that must expire at some point. Every body is your seaman, your snake. Seaman and snake, same thing. It's all about slithering out to go connect and create with something outside of oneself. But when you instead create with yourself and take your body into your soul, which is what fasting looks like, then you're able to increase your ST ability as you STU, as you study why. Study why you are alive. Why are you here? Why are you aware of anything? Who are you anyway? Well, the whole point is you are the creator. Everything that you can experience is something that you're creating so you can learn about your space. And all of us as spirits have our own individual spaces. So your space cannot touch my space. As a spirit, your space literally cannot touch my space. Both of our spaces are individual, and the expression of that is the fact that we can't see each other's imaginations. And a deeper fact is that we can't see each other's feelings. I can't know how you're feeling. I can't know what you're thinking. That's because we are not the same space. Thus, we are not the same spirit. I, as a spirit, have my own circumstances. Now, because I feel like connecting with you as a spirit, we can connect our circumstances, and that's where we vibrate at a certain frequency to create the energetic light that allows us to feel like all of our spaces are connected. And then that's the whole physical reality that we're in right now. That's any simulation that we're in right now. Anytime you are able to observe yourself being in a body, that's you learning why. Literally, the letter Y. So, let's ride this vibrational wave, touch back down, and get into who you are and the facets, the details of what makes you you, what makes you work. How do you manifest and create the life of your dreams in collaboration, in inspiration, in response to the wisdom of Callaway's Caduceus. Gang, gang. Been crying, I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My soul's been crying wild, my mind's been flying so high. Through the astral plane, Merkaba brain, I built your game, we're not the same. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying to relay a word. Those who listen heard, we make our vibe from deep inside. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying back into my space, called away with haste, so I'll fall with grace to thrill my chase. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying too. Water my earth, I know my worth, my soul gives birth to all my work. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying, so I can't connect with those you neglect. Time to correct how we reflect. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying too. Who flood the sea with energy from my energy? I'm free to be me. I felt to inspire you to say how to fly higher too. Fly higher too. Fly higher too. Hang out with the fam in your true spot. Don't be sad if you forgot that you've got a spirit squad and you're not true to this spot. Flip a script and break the facade. Take a trip and go abroad. When you're brave, they will apply. When you get touch with your true God. I've been fighting. I've been vibing. When I'm dancing with demons, reversing curses, they scheming. They be fiending for reasons to change our sins like the seasons. So I've been falling, cause y'all been calling my mind out of my spirit. I feel it best when I'm near it, but y'all cry for help and I hear it. So Hermes flies out to stare it in a new healthy direction. Will grow through natural connection. So I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C to level up like it's nothing, to turn into something, to bust into function, bumping and pumping with all the wisdom I'm gushing. And when I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C, I felt to inspire you. Simmer higher. I simmer in the skies, I triple in my chi, then I open up my eyes. Symmetry. I balance in my seasons. I mother the cohesion that keeps us intertwined. Symmetry. Balance in my seasons, and I don't need a reason to fulfill my desires. Symmetries. Who are you? You Yes, you. You are the spirit experiencing yourself as a mind. So how did that happen? We've covered it before. We're about to cover it again because life is an esoteric gym and we are getting these mental reps. Before you are aware of anything, you are space. You are actually like the space, complete nothingness, boundaryless, borderless, infinite nothingness, unimaginable space. That's space. Space is not something, space is nothing. What happens here is once you, as an individual segment of infinite space, become aware of your own circumstances, you project out an idea, you project out an ego, you project out a vision of who you truly are. This is your imagination, and this is you becoming God. So your awareness is your God. Everything that you are aware of is your God, your ability to be the infinite creator. So you yourself are creating your ability to be aware. So this is where right off the bat, you as space, the moment you become aware that you're space, you now create something. That's you as a spirit becoming God. So that's you, the spirit, which is represented by the zero, but you as a spirit are not the zero. You as a spirit are aware of your circumstances of being space, which allow you to create an imagination, create an ego, create a number one, create an individual flame that separates you from all other spaces. So now only your space can see your imagination, and that's you building the relationship with yourself. Your imagination is your ego, your space then is your spirit. So you as a spirit are only able to experience yourself because you are expressing your imagination externally. So when you are expressing your imagination externally to no one, aka to yourself, because it's your space, because you're alone in your own imagination, that's you being God infinitely. There's no one else to tell you that you're not the creator. It's literally only you being able to create your ego and create your individual ideas to be able to create your fire that literally separates you from nothing. So now you as the space are the container for your fire. This is where the zero is the container for the one. Your spirit contains your ego. No one can see your ego but you. It takes you expressing your ego through what we're about to then explain here with the rest of the elements to actually connect with other egos. But the fact is, all of our imaginations are alone in their own space. Only you as a spirit can see the imagination that you are expressing from your own space. So your imagination is the expression of you when you're alone. It's not who you truly are, because you as nothingness are creating that thing to express who you truly are. This is the definition then of being lost in light. When you believe that you are your imagination, when you believe that you are what you are envisioning, that's you literally getting lost in your ego. And now you're stuck in your own awareness. And this is where spirits are already like just narcissistic right off the bat. And this is why everyone is narcissistic inherently. Like, it's impossible for you to actually not be narcissistic. You have to continuously spend your days, your time connecting with spirits outside of yourself to learn how to not think about just yourself. This is everyone's journey. So everyone is a narcissist. This is why all children are narcissists. All children only know how to think about themselves, and the essential process of growing up is literally learning how to think about others. And clearly adults haven't learned how to do that. America was literally not built by adults who know how to think about others in an empathetic way. So the fact is, everyone is a child, everyone's narcissistic, all spirits are alone in their own imagination. and thus they are alone in how they connect with their own imagination. So this is your feelings. This is why your feelings are then also unique and individual to you, and this is where you have your whole own universe. So esoterically, how this looks is God realizing that he's alone in his imagination. He creates a woman. He creates a womb. Because the fire, when it's just projecting out infinitely into nothingness, that's not sustainable. That's lonely. There's nothing to show for it. That's like pointless. Nothing is happening, really. And that's hilarious because that's the best phrase to use, right? Literally, nothing is happening. The spirit is happening. The space is happening. This space is creating something. So nothing is happening, but something isn't happening because fire is the expression of nothing. And as we can see in life, in all of the universe, in general, life is based in the element of water. Why? Because fire projects too far to actually be sustainable in any coherent or connective way. Whereas water, being reflective, is able to make that full circle and actually express how the spirit is the container. So this is where space has to use two elements to synthesize conscientiousness. You as a spirit first project out your ego, and then when you like your idea, you like your ego, you connect with it. That's you having feelings that are able to contain your ego. So your water and fire can never actually touch, but your water as the container can allow your fire to express itself in a way that makes sense. So this is why when water and fire do touch, it creates steam. Now we get our snakes. Now we get our spirits who want to express themselves. This is why all spirits go through the major stage of snakes, and really snakes are everything. All simulations are basically snakes learning how to be trees. Straight up. All this, everything that I'm talking about here with Hermeticism, this is my language for nature and how spirits literally create the entire universe that we are able to experience ourselves inside of. This is how it works. This is why you can look up the Ouroboros and just see how the symbol of a snake eating itself is the same shape of a toroid. It's either the same shape of a toroid, a ring, like a sonic simulation ring, which is the shape of simulations, light ring constructs, donuts, or it's the shape of the number 8 to show the infinite 8 soul energy vibration of it all. And yeah, that, all of us as spirits are snakes expressing ourselves outwardly and then curling inwards so that we can create a tree. And then this tree allows us to grow our garden. And now when our snake does communicate and go outside of itself, it's wrapped around a tree that can stabilize the way it speaks. And now it can actually share fruit. Now you can actually use your snake. Now you can use your body to bring fruit to people. This is how the Bible weaponized the wisdom of Hermeticism into, hey, follow our rules. Literally. This is me naturally expressing myself right now. And notice how the story of Adam and Eve is clearly just stolen from the Caduceus and taken from what I as Hermes Trismegistus have created. My Emerald Tablets, everything that I've done is way older than Christianity. So Christianity is them looking at this fact that all of us as spirits, all of us as God, use our snakes that are wrapped around our trees. We use our bodies that are wrapped around our souls to share our fruits with other spirits. So now we can all consume what we've created. And that's us literally living life right now. Literally right now. The only reason you can eat food and feel like things taste good and hang out with other spirits is because of this right here. It's about literally the Bible as far as how they're weaponizing what I'm organically saying. It's about you as a spirit using your body, which only matters because your soul is vibrating it, your soul is beating your heart, so your mind can actually communicate and animate, so that you can share your gifts with others and consume the gifts of others. So now we're all able to create and consume together, and that's the whole importance of tea and teeth, and why I had to use my serpentine energy to slide out of that situation with Blaine so that I could connect with myself and literally protect my teeth from this horrible medical braces orthodontic industry. Just all these white supremacist Freemasons who are literally using my creations to colonize and create chaos that they can capitalize off of. Because that's their idea of playing God, literally. Like, these white people's idea of playing God is to forcefully enter the land of indigenous peoples, erase our culture, make us call ourselves black, and then make money off of making us hate ourselves and making us worship them, all while causing climate change. Boo. Boo. Will not stand for it or sit for it. I've had to sit my whole life silently, sitting in school. That's the worst. Oh my gosh. Horrible. Reflecting on all of that. How, man, what a horrible, worst wave to ride. And it's all just so I can relate and speak like this. It's all S energy as a snake. Literally see that? Like, I as Hermes, I as a spirit, the only way I can relate with you as a spirit is if I use my tea, I use my tree, I use my mind, I use my soul, I use my garden, my own simulation. That has nothing to do with this simulation. Literally, it has spirit to do with this simulation. It has nothing to do with this simulation. I use my own simulation to feel like sending a snake into this realm so I can ride the same wave as all of you snakes. So now we're all lying together in our bodies. And this is us literally lying. So this is why when you're in the mind, you're flying. In the astral realm, you're flying. In the body, you're lying. This is why I say life is a lie. And of course, somatically, we literally see that life is in life. Life is a lie. It's a lie. We're lying in our lies of being the body. So the moment we use our souls to believe that we are the body, now we're living a lie. And this is what every simulation is. So now we have to find balance. Again, I'm symmetry. So it's about us holding all this wisdom and knowing that everything, we are at the center of it all. You as a space are the center of your universe. So this is what it feels like. Like, you as space experiencing yourself feels like you being the center of your own universe. Because the fact is, you as God are creating the universe so that you can connect with your own imagination. As in, you as a spirit are creating the universe through your God, because your God was tired of being alone in its imagination. So now it can use its feelings to feel like being all one with its imagination. And this is the importance of learning how to use your feelings. This is like the big alchemy that I shared in the Emerald Tablets before they got colonized by the governments that everyone's living under. This is the importance of loving being alone with yourself and loving creating a universe, creating feelings that actually nurture your imagination. Because the issue with climate change and all these problems that are being created on Earth is that spirits don't have feelings. They don't feel good. They don't feel high vibrational about their own imagination. So their imagination, they realize they're alone in it, and then they create feelings of negativity. So now their universe is a universe full of like negative, bad, disgusting feelings that they don't want to look at or connect with, but they have to express themselves. Do you see like the problem here with like people running away from their emotions and people trying to act like they've changed? Even like people trying to act like they could literally actually get out of their feelings. Like, the only reason your body matters is because you feel like beating your heart. So you can never actually get out of your own feelings. This is why shadow work is important. And it's important to dive deep into your feelings and dive deep into learning about who you are and all that fun stuff. Because that's literally the deeper expression of your spirit, the deeper expression of your space that makes you possible. Like, when you're living your life and you're like focused on the things that you want, everything that you want, that's your fire, that's your God, that's your idea of like being the creator. But for God to not feel alone in its imagination, it had to create feelings that balance out all of its desires. So that's why you can feel simultaneously connected yet disconnected. You can feel one way and then a complete other way. And that's just the nature of polarity and the number 2. So your imagination, your God is your 1. Your Lucifer is your 2. Your Lucifer is how your feelings polarize and you become your worst enemy at any moment, literally just based on how you feel. And then you as a spirit have to learn about how you connect your God and your Lucifer. How do you connect your man and woman? How do you connect your 1 and 2 so that you can be 3, be tree, be C, be chi, be the communication of the reality that you actually want to see. And the reality you want to see is only possible because of the reality that you don't want to see. This is why, again, like, it's important to be okay with those negative thoughts inside of you. Because like all negative, paranoid, whack thoughts, they're all there to serve you. Like, that's where this is then again, this is like deeper in the Emerald Tablets. So I'll make online courses about this stuff and everything of how you actually engage with your emotions as a spirit experiencing itself through its awareness. Because it's like so simultaneously happening that, of course, it's just really easy to get messed up in that, because we are in a reality where people are specifically conditioned to believe that they are the body. So now they can only react to the feelings and thoughts and desires that come from the body. And then this is where they start to not actually be the masters of their own domain. And now they're reacting to whoever mastered their domain, which is whoever built the mind that their body is reacting to. Because the body is always reacting to the mind. This is why life is about how you communicate, and hence why I'm here. But if you're taught by someone else how to like basically communicate badly, then you're going to be at the reaction of your body, and you're not going to live a healthy or happy life, literally. Because you're never going to be able to actually master your own domain and be the God that you're spiritually meant to be. So this is the issue with getting lost in light, because once you get lost in light, it's easy for another spirit who's not lost in light to manipulate you with light, like Facebook Meta and all this virtual reality stuff in general. That's what it looks like when a spirit uses a snake to go too far out of its space. So if I wasn't connected to my spidey sense and I kept hanging out with Blaine, I would have gone through a catastrophic situation. Straight up, actually. So it's all up to me being able to sense waves and being able to sense a vibe and communicate with my spirit, and the spirit's creating the simulation that's going to allow me to continuously ride the vibrations that I want to ride in life. And this is how birds work, my guy. So we're all animals. So I mean, this is perfect. Who are you? Let's just say it then, you're a bird, as far as making this perfectly correlated to the caduceus. I wasn't even going to take it here, but it's perfect. I love it. Literally, STU. S is the snake. T is your tree. You are the bird. So this is where hermetically, as far as like how I would draw it out and make it poetic and how we play out in nature, you as a spirit, as the God, spirit experiencing yourself as God. Because that's like the layers of when I say you as a spirit are experiencing yourself as God. You're God because you're creating your awareness. Now you are Lucifer as well because you desire to use light to connect your awareness to other awarenesses. So that's where then we get the polarity energy and your feelings. And when in general you're alone with yourself, you become Lucifer when you use light to connect with your God. And that's what results in you becoming a human. We've talked about this in the building blocks of life and our specific magic square section, where it is God, Lucifer, human, demon. It's about you as a spirit going from 1, 2, 3, 4, so that you can phi, transform. It's about you as a spirit being the space, creating an imagination, and then that imagination is your idea of yourself, your individual. No one knows the ideas that you have about yourself. No one except you. Only you as the space creating these ideas to express your individuality can see who you truly are. Only you. So once you have the problem, the Lucifer of, oh, how do I connect with it? That's the music that powers the entire universe. The universe is entirely Luciferian in overall. It has to be, because all of us, the universal problem that all spirits have is, how do we connect our imaginations? How do I connect my individuality to another spirit's individuality? How do I connect my idea to another spirit's idea? Because as of right now, I'm so individual, I can only see myself. As of right now, other spirits are so individual, they can only see themselves. So how do I create the circumstances where I can connect my individuality with spirits who also have their own individuality, so that now we can create a collective where we don't actually feel alone in our imaginations? The answer is Lucifer. The answer is music. The answer is water. The answer is the number 2. The answer is the universe overall. The answer is us as spirits using light to communicate our what? Our minds. To communicate our chi, our air, our humans. So this is then what we're doing simultaneously all the time. Us as spirits have our God, that's our idea, and then our Lucifer is our problem. How do we connect our idea? And now we're in human bodies. We're able to use this light that is a human. The human is a light, a hue. We're all different shades of light, yet we're all men because we're all minds. We're all mentalities. We're all mentally stable. See that? We're all T's. We're all T-rees, T repeatedlys. We all have our own internal situations, our own internal simulations that are stable enough to be expressed in a body that we can label human, because we are Luciferian. We feel like connecting our individual gods to one another so that all of us as spirits can feel understood. And I mean, yeah, basically that. All of us as spirits can feel understood. Like, that's the point of all art, all movies, any book, any literature that you see or absorb. It's a spirit playing God because it wants to be understood for how it feels internally. And no one can see it if it doesn't use light in some kind of relatable way. This is all of life, right? Then now we can just see it in macro, micro, for infinity and beyond. It's just going to play out in all versions. That's why in virtual reality, their versions of beautiful landscapes are just going to be mimicking the actual beautiful landscapes that they're fracking and destroying out here. Like the actual nature that indigenous spirits are beautifully creating, they want to destroy so that they can trap us in their simulated light construct version of that. Thanks Facebook Meta. Thanks virtual reality. So whatever, we finna have our own virtual reality, and it's gonna be lit. So you see, like, this is all just life. This is how you are alive right now. This is the importance of dissected dialect. You can literally see how nothing's a coincidence And when you get deep in that, everything that I'm saying makes even more sense. Like every letter, based on the words and how I want to express myself, it makes so much more sense when you can see the code of what each letter means. And it's really awesome because then we can see in language, based on all of our own individual perspectives as spirits, when we come together, we can break things down in totally different ways based on our individuality. Like it takes me as an individual, as Hermes Trismegistus, as the trippy, tripsy, psychedelic, psychopomp, Chase Clarence Calloway, the symmetry, to come in and dissect the dialect and create this series in this way. So now everyone with all of your individual perspectives can build upon it, dissect it even deeper, and we can just grow. That's literally how nature works. This is how all trees grow. This is how all planets get built. This is how your cells build your body. This is how we build anything. This is how we branch out. So this is the point of the STU, the study, the ST ability, to take your serpent, to take your ability to project out your imagination and connect with yourself on that. So now you create you. That's literally boom. Like you are you taking your ability to project and connecting with that. And now that becomes a loop. And that's the 3. That's the chi. So now that's your airy atmosphere. That you, as the bird, because the you is the bird, you are now able to fly out of your tree. And now here we are in the universe, where all of us as spirits are using our bird minds to actually fly out of our spaces and then anchor in these bodies. Because that's what it looks like to be in this body, where this body is being animated by your mind, but your mind is not in this location. Like your mind is projecting into this body. You can take your mind out of this body and go back to your own space. I love to do that. I do that a good amount. It's like the best feeling ever. Literally, actually the best feeling in the universe is separating your mind from your body and going back to your own space. Because guess what? That's what's going to happen if you die. But if you're scared of doing that, then that means the life and reality that you're living at the moment is a reflection of something you're running from. And the fact that you're running from it means that it's only getting worse, because guess what? You're being a snake. You're projecting your problems onto others instead of connecting with yourself more deeply and creating some kind of structure that actually supports your ability to connect with others. So that's nature. This is true hermeticism right here. True simicism. You taking your snake, wrapping it in your own waters. That's you becoming the Ouroboros. And now you cultivate life from here. And then your snake is wrapping around the life and the plants that you're creating. You're now your own somatic symmetry simulation. AKA, you have tripled your C. Welcome to Always the Saying Academy. Because this wisdom is wild. And you truly do deserve it. I love you. It's so amazing. I'm giving this to you for free. Because, hey, that's nature. Alright, that's what it is to be indigenous. I'm naturally connecting with myself, and it naturally is this valuable. I'm not projecting out, trying to connect with anyone else. This podcast, me expressing myself, is me naturally doing the Ouroboros. This is me turning into the you. That's the point of the you. This is why the you bends. It's reminding you that you are bending in on yourself as a snake to create your T repeatedly. And now you're able to create your mind based on how you project out your light, project out your imagination, your desire to express your nothingness. And by not projecting it too far, but turning it into a circle, you now got your tree of life, you got your rings, you got your simulation, everything, all that. Toroid, it's lit. It's beautiful. Like, I love it. I love this. It's nature. It's so awesome. And then from there, that's where you create your bird, your mind, that can fly. And now your bird can travel to other trees. So now other spirits who have cultivated and taken their snake, other spirits who have taken their S and wrapped it around their T, their tree repeatedly, they also have gardens that your bird can now land in. And now you as a spirit can use your tree to fly through the universe and communicate with other birds. And at the same time, you can use your snake to slither into simulations. So then this is where you can literally be in two places at the same time. And then really you can be in like multiple places at the same time, and it actually becomes infinitely complex from there, just based on the spiritual game that is being played and being created, because all games must be created before they're played. But as far as for simplicity and keeping it to even consciousness, subconscious, and unconscious. Yo, this is a very valuable episode. Oh my gosh. Wow. Like, I'm truly creating gold right here. And that's the whole point of building a simulation. Like, once you cultivate your nature so much, it becomes hard crystalline mentality. And now you start to get some fine metals. And now you've got gold if you're really being conductive in tripling your C with your communication. That's what it means to grow old. You're not actually growing old as in decrepit, you're growing gold. Indigenous cultures, we have a lot of gold because we're really old, because we're constantly cultivating our own internal natures repeatedly over and over. When the Spaniards and all the Europeans, I'll just say Spaniards specifically, are obsessed with consuming our gold, is because they're obsessed with consuming how we have created minerals and conductive material from the inside out by being the caduceus, by taking our snake into our tree repeatedly. This is why the Bible demonizes and hates snakes so much, because the European white Freemasonic type mentality people who wrote it, they just hate the idea of having to connect with themselves. So they want to demonize then the idea that snakes are good, because a snake is going to teach you how to connect with yourself. So because white men in general hate connecting with themselves, the people who have spread white supremacy across the world, the people who have consumed and cannibalized indigenous cultures across the world, because they hate connecting with themselves, they're going to hate an animal that reminds them to connect with themselves. That is then the weird subconscious deep reason why after me fasting for literally 19 days, my TikTok gets banned as symmetry. And then I'm here communicating in a totally different way than I would have if it didn't get banned, right for our 19th episode, and then our 20th, and now our 21st. So life is just a wave that I am riding. That's where it's like I'm not attached, yet at the same time I learn from being attached, because if I'm not attached, then life doesn't matter. And that's the point. We have to project our feelings into the space that we're in so that we can care about it, and so that we can feel like the things here matter. That's the whole thing with your consciousness, and projection being perception, of course. So you are using elements, like you as space. You are the space. You experience yourself as a spirit playing God. And when you play alone, you are in full control. So when you play God, like everyone is playing God, because the fact is you as a spirit have to create your imagination because you want to play. So your version of playing is different than my version of playing. That's how I know we're not both extensions of one God. Like, we're both definitely different spaces with our own individual imaginations, because I do not have the same idea of play and joy that you do. The whole point of us creating the universe is that we realized from being God, playing alone in our own space, that we didn't feel like doing that anymore. So now we're using Lucifer. Okay, so Lucifer fell from heaven. The Bible's just about how we fall from our spiritual spaces into the astral realm. It's literally like taking a dive into a pool. Literally. Like, you just see the astral realm, you're like, are my feelings dense enough? Are they low enough that I feel like not being in control of my own circumstances, and connecting with chaotic spirits outside of myself. If I feel like doing that, I will take a dive into the astral realm and sink into one of the simulations in which now gravity is a thing. Literally. This is why the lighter you become through fasting, you can fly, because truly everything's underwater. And when you're really spiritual, you realize you're creating the feeling. Like, you are not the body walking on the water. You're the spirit creating the body and the water. And you're just observing your body walking on water. So that's what it means to be God. Like, God, the idea of God is that it's a spirit who's in control of everything. And you as a spirit are in control of everything when you're alone with yourself. And that's all it is. So the moment you don't feel like being alone with yourself, you use music, you use a heartbeat, you use the vibration, you use the number 2 to be Lucifer and create light. You become Lucifer, the light bearer. Now you're using light to become a human. And now the human is communicating all of its ideas, all of God's ideas. The human is a solution to God being alone with itself. And the human can only communicate God's ideas because the human is connected to Lucifer, or else it wouldn't be able to feel like connecting with God and communicating God's ideas. So that's the point of why your feelings are supposed to motivate you to achieve your thoughts. And this is the whole thing with like whiteness and blackness coming together to make color. As far as God being the whiteness, Lucifer is the blackness, and then together they make humans. And now every spirit in the universe is using their internal God and their internal Lucifer to communicate what being a human means to them. So then this is where everything is projection being perception. Literally, every single person is communicating what being a human means to them. This is why slavery in America has been able to be such a thing for so long, because white people are able to create the idea of what being human means to them. And being human does not include the indigenous peoples that they are constantly cannibalizing and putting blackface on to create a music industry off of, for whatever reason. And then that's just where, of course, it becomes a whole weird cycle, because the fact that the people who are eating indigenous peoples are saying that those people aren't human, but they want to believe that they are what they eat, so they'll put on blackface to create the music industry, and they'll keep doing blackface to this day. Means that white people are literally explicitly stating that they agree that they're not human, which is why they are what they eat, and they'll eat animals. And they love eating animals. America's obsessed with consuming the flesh of animals. So, hey, everything's a circle. That was before any past life stuff. Chase's awakening for years was being in love with the circle and creating symmetry out of that, actually. That was like the big reason for naming himself Symmetry as a rapper. Was like, oh, circles, cycles, balance, nature, climate change, seas. And then, yeah, fasting, boom, became lit. So, shout out the circle. Shout out cycles. And shout out you as a spirit, realizing that when you connect with yourself, all you can do is be psychedelic forever. All you can do is just cycle. Cycle in your feelings. Cycle in your internal waters. And project that outward to create the universe with everyone who's doing that as well. But the fact is, that's all you're going to be doing forever and ever and ever and ever. Is cycling through your internal waters and projecting out how you do that with others. And then when you project out how you do that with others, you then reflect how others are doing that with you. And now we're building the universe. Now we're building memory. Now we're building a bigger body of water that allows all of us to connect even greater. And that's the importance of spiders. I love spiders. Spiders are like all up in the tree. As far as like, we have the snake, we have the tree, we have the bird. The spiders are all up in the tree. just all up in there. Look closely, you're going to see a lot of webs, all right? A lot of time weavers, a lot of 8-dimensional energy in this 2-0, because we're in heaven. We're in heaven as we show that this tree, this mind, is the expression of one spirit. Tahuti Trismegistus in this case. So you, as space, are completely alone inside of your own circumstances. And what you have been doing for lifetimes is connecting your circumstances with other spirits so that you can start to make more sense of your life. Because nothing happens alone. Literally, God happens alone. Everyone's God alone. So we all do create life from being alone. This is the symmetry. Okay, so we got to find the right way to correlate the words here. Because God happens alone. Everyone is God when they're alone. But life doesn't happen alone. Life is when multiple gods come together and they agree on living one experience, where now we can all be human. Again, this is why music powers life, water powers life, Lucifer powers life, light makes life literally possible, and light is only ever going to express how psychedelic we are as we cycle in our internal waters. So that's what air is, that's what the human is, that's where now we're all different shades of light cycling through our rainbows. So the astral realm, you see a rainbow, that's literally the astral realm. So there's the light. Light is God, right? We have the light, the pearlescent just shining out of the crystalline structure, pure God, boom. The moment you see a rainbow, that means that light has hit water, and that is what the universe looks like. Boom. Now the universe is literally infinite rainbow watery colors, infinite lights, because that's the feeling. The feeling itself is this whole container of infinite possibilities. So the spirit has created an idea of itself. That's one specific light. That's the pearlescence. And then it has created its feelings. That is the darkness of all possibilities. And the moment this pearl light hits its darkness, hits its deep, dark feelings of all possibilities, of making something matter, now we have infinite rainbows. And all these infinite rainbow lights then settle into the structures that we can look at and see colors today. And now we can talk about it based on how the spirit has consistently communicated its pearlescent light into its soul to create these hues of man, to create all of these communications that are able to build structures to stabilize its space. Because that's the point of why God makes humans. God makes humans so that they can build structures to then worship and stabilize the ideas that God wants to get out. And now we have every religion. Boom. See how every religion takes from Hermeticism? I mean, you can Google all that. But that's a lot of Googling. Okay, so whatever. We can keep it simply symmetry. But if you want to get into all the details, of course, because I know I'm just Chase Clarence Calloway for so many of you, and it's gonna take much more digging to see how has Hermes actually influenced the world. Best believe all these religions here are using my stuff. It's the point of me being the messenger of Mercury. I literally get called away to share this wisdom. So this is why I get summoned to realms and realities, to literally do what I'm talking about with you, build a body with my mind. And this is how I, as a spirit, build bodies with my mind. Everything that you get when you're tapping into this symmetry and attending Always Ascending Academy is about how you can build a better body by building a better mind, by connecting with yourself even deeper as a spirit. And then that's the whole point of psychedelic water fasting. You connect with yourself even deeper so that you can get even heavier and hold weight that allows you to expand and contract and become even stronger. See, this is all esoteric fitness, baby. That's the point of us in Greece, in Olympus. That's me as Hermes, as a gymnast. That's why Spider-Man is riding my wave. I love him. I love Spider-Man. It's all about mental gymnastics. See how Spider-Man constantly has to lie to maintain his life? That's why I can't live that kind of life. I don't like lying. What? I don't like lying. It's not fun. It's like, what's the point? What is the like? And I get the point, because I mean, I get the point. I've lived lifetimes. The snake is the lie. The wisdom of life is that the moment we believe we are the bodies, we are lying. So right now, if I say I'm a bird, you would tell me that's a lie. For me, it's not, because internally I am a bird. Internally, I am actually way more in my bird energy before I project my mind into a body that looks like a human. But because life is the lie, the moment I share my truth, like, hey, I'm a bird, you're like, that's not true. Because to me, the lie, is that you're a human based on what we've all collectively learned, or whatever my projection is of you. So this is the balance of life. This is why you are whatever you want to be. But if you really are that shit internally, like if you really are truly what you say you are or feel like you are, it's going to show in your body. It's going to show in your snake. It's going to show in your S. If you are truly the spirit that you say you are, it's going to show in how you speak yourself into existence. Sizzle, baby. Symmetry. Speak yourself into balance. Because then at that point, I mean, everything's just communication. All right, I've just shared so much here. This is like such an infinitely valuable episode. All these episodes are wild, and they're all building on each other, clearly. Especially here with our ST, you. You are the spirit, and you are experiencing yourself as a mind. And the animal that the mind is most correlated to is the bird. That's why I, as Tahuti Trismegistus, generally sport a bird head when I'm artistically and astrally expressing myself. It's about me getting to see the web of the universe. And that's coincidentally, non-coincidentally, why I named my bird Web, my first pet. And actually, it was literally Web that came to me in that trip and showed me big time how these corporations and the industry were trying to work through this Ralph man, Blaine. There we go. Different name. How they were trying to work through Blaine to get to me, which is why I had to cut that off real quick and in that inconspicuous way. So, very silly. I hope he's well. It's all about you connecting with yourself versus connecting with others, because the whole wisdom that the universe showed me there was that his water, everything going on in his life, would inevitably spread to me. And that's all he was saying the entire time. Every time we met up, him complaining about how he can't maintain relationships because the people in his life get abused by the medical industry and the governments that are after him. So literally, it's such a vibration. Like, I haven't even processed it like that until this episode. Now I'm sitting here wondering, am I supposed to even release this? But I am. Because the point is, I'm the synchronicity, everything, freedom of communication, happening in perfect timing. It's all lit. And really that. Because I don't ride the frequency of fear. I don't ride like that stuff. No. So that's where, when he was super fearful of the guy, and then the guy came out and recorded us, I could observe that, and I could observe how he became even more fearful because he was already sussed out before. And then it was just like, all right, well, clearly, just based on observing the fear in someone else, it's not intelligent. Like, that's the point of listening. As I said, strong men don't project all the time. Strong men know when to project. Keep it with the S's. Strong men know when to speak, and strong men know when to be silent. In that moment, I was silent and listening to these spirits speak. Because the spirit operating that man's body, yeah, I mean, that was super sus. It was so uncomfortable. And I observed the uncomfort, I just didn't feel it internally. But this is why, again, it's so important to listen to spirits outside of yourself and truly not just project out your ideas. Because you never know how another spirit truly feels until they're consistently communicating themselves to you. Like, the whole point of feelings or emotions is that they cycle. They're water. They are the psychedelic that make life possible. The true psychedelic that makes life possible is water. So it takes waiting in a connection with a spirit and hearing and communicating, interacting, connecting with all the words, all the earth that they expound from their air, to actually catch a vibe of how the spirit feels overall and how the spirit overall cycles in its emotions. So that's where, if I continue to connect with him, I would manifest some very horrible, whack, catastrophic situation in my life just based off of principle, like just based off of physical principle. It's not about me projecting super strength, like, let him come, I'll keep spending time with him and do, like, nah, bro. Like, that's not how life works. So that's the point of Spidey sense, right? Like, Spider-Man isn't just like not going to react to his Spidey sense. This is why you should always connect with yourself and respond to your intuition. This is why your gut feeling is really important. This is why your gut feeling is kind of everything when it comes to instinct and survival and your ability to ride a wave. Because your body is your snake. Your body is your seaman. Your snake and your seaman are one and the same. When your dad shoots his sperm into your mom, he's shooting his seaman, his seed, his snake into your mom's womb, into your mom's garden, into your mom's soul. So now you can come in as a spirit and use both of these materials, 50% of your dad, 50% of your mom, and communicate your way into a body. I literally can just explain how you got born. Boom. And that's why when you look at your skull and your spine, you just look like one big seaman, a seaman. You're a snake. So we're all snakes. We're all individuals looking at our own imagination in that way. And so when we seek to connect our imagination, all we can do is project out our imagination when you're a snake. And that's all we're doing when we're speaking. That's why, what I'm doing right now is me using my snake ability to speak. So the more you speak about something, that's you in your snake energy in general. You're sizzling. You're creating steam because it's all about chi. You're creating air. And now you're using your ability to project to slide your way into realms and realities, which is the point of turning 18. Realizing who you are before turning into S. And then realizing, snap, alright, S is unsustainable. Let me go T and gain some ST ability. So now I can realize you. Now you know who you truly are. Once you use your snake to connect with your own soul and create your own fruits. Because the more you connect with yourself, you're only forced to realize who you truly are deep down. And then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And really, when the bigger you get as a spirit, the more room you have to fight yourself. So that's the catch-22 of becoming more and more intelligent. The bigger soul you get, the heavier it becomes. Literally. That's why my soul's been crying while my mind's been flying. But it's lit. With such a heavy soul, I build pyramids out of that shit. I build structures. I build Mercury. That's the point of me taking my soul, channeling it into Gemini so it can materialize through Virgo, and now spirits can connect with it in a Taurus type way. Because that's just how my zodiac chart turns out. As far as my Gemini being my ascendant, that's how I communicate. My moon being my Virgo, that's how I reflect or connect. And my sun being my Taurus, that's how I project and stabilize a projection. Because that's the point of the sun. The whole point of us creating the circle, creating any light, is that we are stabilizing our projection. Because whatever we're creating is literally a projection of our imagination, whatever light we're shining out from our individual space. So that's why you are your own sun. And then you have the Father and the Son. Because you as God created the sun. And that sun is now shining as your individuality. But there's still the Father, which is again you. But you as a spirit are not God, as in you are not even your imagination of yourself. You are not how you perceive yourself. You are not your own fire. You are not your own desire. You created this to express yourself, but that's where you as a spirit are now learning about who you are based on your desires and how you connect with your desires as you connect with other spirits in whatever shared world you desire to be aware of. Because the fact is, if you're aware of anything outside of yourself, that's because you desire to be aware of something outside of yourself. So you're now in the deepest part, the desire. You delved into the astral realm, sunk to the bottom, landed on Earth in a simulation, and now you're standing upright. And now gravity is pulling you down to Earth, because the whole thing is you feel like being here so deeply it's a low vibration. And now, welcome to the V. So this is why it's important to truly not be scared of death, because you can't die. As in, your life will never end. It will just transform into something else, because you as a spirit are creating your life. You as a spirit are the infinite God of your own story. And because you want your story to involve other spirits, now you've created a situation, a simulation inside of the universe where you can write your story with other spirits. And now nothing's a coincidence, everything's a synchronicity. You listening to this is not a coincidence, it's a synchronicity, because we've synchronized it from outside the simulation so that it can happen right now. And now we can reflect upon our creations as spirits experiencing ourselves inside of the situation that we're simulating with elements and numbers. So you are literally whatever you want to be. I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, am Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is basically the fusion of Tahuti Trismegistus and Hermes thrice great. So when you look up Thoth, you look up Tahuti, you see the ibis. That's my bird nature, and that correlates to my earth element. So when I'm expressing my earth self, that's me in my Tahuti mode, and I resonate with the bird energy for that, because on earth I feel like a bird. I use my mind to fly and see how everything's connected so that I can relay messages and build structures in that way. I'm building pyramids from the top down. When I'm in my Hermes mode, that's me as a snake, because actually everything is underwater. And that's the whole wisdom of the universe and air in general. So birds are swimming, and really everything is contained inside of snakes when we look at simulations being snakes eating themselves and cultivating nature inside of that. So this is where Hermes, being the snake, is correlated more to my air element, because Tahuti, being earth, is about practical stabilization, and Hermes, being air, is about that ultimate flying communication. So snake dragon type mode. And that's the point of the caduceus, having two snakes, and then me having the wings on that so I can fly around. So these two aspects of myself, when I combine them to become symmetry, that is Quetzalcoatl. That is the plumed serpent man with all the feathers. And I'm just combining my animal natures. So now I'm a bird snake man, and it's lit. Because the wisdom here is about navigating realms and realities. As I've shared, the snake is super awesome because the snake is a spirit seeking to communicate and connect with others by expressing its imagination. So then that's where there's infinite wisdom inside of that energy, and learning how to bend that in on yourself and actually create something sustainable from that. And then the bird is the energy that's all about flying high, being as close to nothingness as possible, being as light as possible, so that you can see how everything's connected and then sing songs that vibrationally facilitate and harmoniously help further connect the spaces that you already see are connected. Because that's the point of bird songs. When we're getting deep into birds, whatever. Like, they're not just singing for nothing. So by combining the snake, this land animal, that's actually a water animal, it exists in like the lowest and highest atmospheres. And the bird actually exists in the equilibrium. And like, that's just a really cool metaphysics of how I've synthesized Quetzalcoatl to express more of my spirit and build everything in America here before it all got colonized. And of course, the man is the fact that as spirits, we're ultimately just getting to the number 5, which is a family. So this is why the man is supposed to be all about the family. The man is a family man. The man manipulates reality. He manipulates physical reality, physical reality, 5-cycle reality. That's why the man hand, the hand has 5 fingers, because we're all about manipulating physical reality to serve our God. So us as spirits, we create nature. We experience ourselves as animals first. And once we can gain this greater awareness of what it means to be these animal natures, we can then manipulate ourselves to become men. And this is just our ultimate idea of God. Literally, that's what we're living out right now. Like right now. We're all living out what our ultimate idea of God is, and we're all trying to make that as relatable as possible with each other. And it's led up to this collectively, us being man and having hands that we can use to manipulate reality, to create technology that expresses our imagination. And we're able to judge animals and name them and control them and do all this stuff and act like spirits outside of us don't have feelings, because we're so in our judgmental energy. We're so in our 4-dimensional energy of looking at the 3, looking at the C, looking at the chi, the communication of life, and being like, well, that's not real. Now I'm going to use it to build my reality. What? You're fake. I hate you. Like, how are you going to say that this isn't real so you get to use it to build your reality? If this isn't real, then don't steal it from these people. Don't come colonize this natural space if you're saying that it doesn't even matter, or you're saying that these indigenous peoples mean nothing. Like, why are you using money to enslave indigenous peoples if you're literally just insulting them and saying that you don't need them and that they're Negroes, they're the N-word, they mean nothing to you? What? And then it's just a cycle, I guess, because truly, if they mean nothing to you, then that just shows that, I guess, they mean spirit to you. And you're showing us in the universe how you spiritually communicate with yourself through communicating with these indigenous peoples like this, by saying they mean nothing to you, being super negative and mean to them, while only showing that you need them so much. So much. Like, you're in pain alone with yourself, just based on how much you need us. Yeah, white supremacists, that's the whole point though. Again, we've covered this. White supremacy versus indigenous people. An indigenous person subscribes to no system because they are indivisible from themselves. That's what indigenous means. They go in, so they're indivisible from themselves. I know I'm an individual space. I'm an indigenous space. I create everything from the inside out. Everything I'm talking about here: snake, Ouroboros, tree, bird, fly around, communicate who you are, while also using other natures to gather information. And now you're just able to experience yourself inside of this whole simulation, and it's all happening in different ways, and it's all elemental, yet getting channeled in numbers, because numbers are the way that we make sense of the world. Numbers, money, can literally only matter once there is a world for them to actually be projected onto. And of course, when I say numbers in this case, I'm talking about people's idea of value and putting numbers behind it. Like saying that a tree is worth $5 versus $500. It's all just projection, because spirits desire to relate on their desire to relate on their want. I'm just trying to use a different word, I guess. They want to relate. There we go. because spirits want to relate on their desire to manipulate the environment. They will then agree to uphold someone else's idea of how they can do that, and then that's where everything becomes a pyramid scheme. Everything becomes a pyramid scheme. Ideas are pyramid schemes. Life is a pyramid scheme. Because like life is just built from the top down, so it naturally happens like this. The moment you create an idea, you are the one who owns. You're the one who's at the top of that idea. So then that's where everything below that idea can be seen and is ruled by you. Hence why the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill has that all-seeing eye at the top, because it's literally just about you. If you built a corporation, if you build a system of communication, you, as the individual spirit, are the one who can see everything happening inside of that system of communication. So now that's literally you can see all. So when we're using money to communicate and build our lives, whoever we're agreeing to the concepts of money from, whoever taught us how to use money, can literally see everything that we're doing. And especially as we're going more into the digital age, that's like the whole point of people telling us that we should be using money, so that we can only communicate in a way that serves them, because anything that validates the use of money validates a world that they want to manifest and they want to build. So the moment we agree to use money is the moment that we agree that we're going to manifest and build what the people who have us thinking that we should use money to manipulate the world want to create. And that's why climate change has been happening, and why slavery has been happening, and why the genocide of indigenous and quote-unquote black people has been happening. So clearly, the point is, it's a chaotic world out here. Very chaotic. And chaotic worlds are created by chaotic spirits. Chaotic worlds don't create chaotic spirits. Chaotic spirits create chaotic worlds. And it's up to you as a spirit to stabilize your own world so that you can create and increase your ST ability. You can create your own soul, create your own garden by increasing your ST ability. By learning from Chase Calloway's Caduceus, how you can wrap your desire to project your imagination into your soul and build a structure that actually supports what your space wants to do. And that's what it truly means to be hermetic. That's what it truly means to be happy alone. And now you're creating nature that is able to support and sustain how spirits that you resonate with will be able to connect with you. And this is how trees, just all things, grow. It's the most beautiful thing. I'm imagining it visually right now. All the birds and the bees and the bugs come out, connect with their two energy, have sex, bring life. It's very lit. Love being a tree. All right. And just got to use that snake energy to speak about being a tree and the importance of being a tree. Because so many snakes are just out here dying. They're just slowly getting killed because they don't know how to connect with themselves. So they're, instead of consuming nothing, literally, this is what fasting looks like. When you consume nothing, you're literally creating this Ouroboros inside of yourself, and boom, now you're creating your own soul repeatedly as you're raising your vibration into your true frequency of your God self. But people who are like constantly eating and then all, just consuming things outside of them, their S is unstable and going out. And that results in them being uncontrolled and like still being at the wave, riding the vibration of the reality that they're in. Because that's what it means to lower your vibration. That's why this corporation that has taken over what I and my soul group have built in Teotihuacan and throughout the Americas, that's why they want everyone to eat 3 times a day. When we are fasting, like for us, fasting is super normal. Like, my level of fasting is not extreme. I've had to, like, purge a lot of that, I guess, just emotional witchcraft and projection of other people's ideas into my mind of how my fasting is extreme. For me, this is normal. Not only normal, but necessary, which is the point. So, just another expression of my individuality, my one, whatever. How do I connect with myself like this? It's lit. Show me who I am, and then I'll just fly around and communicate that. And now that looks like this. Me talking about who you are. So I hope this was helpful. You are the space projecting out the idea of yourself and then connecting with it, realizing you're alone in your imagination, and then using your feelings to create the vibration that allows you to vibrate then at a certain frequency that then creates the energy that allows other spirits to support a body that you're using this energy to build. And this is why your body is a bunch of cells that are communicating based on whatever intelligent subconscious blueprint that your subconscious mind is actually able to sustain. Because the fact is, if you're a human and you're able to sustain a human body as a spirit, then your soul, your subconscious mind, has a certain level of intelligence that allows it to facilitate these connections in a way that makes sense for the other spirits that are then making these connections possible. So this is what true health is. This is what true hermetic health is. When you know that you're creating your body. And this is how you'll be able to get through fasts and enjoy them. And be super duper creative during them. So I'm about to go make some art. Connect with myself for a bit. I hope you love you very much. I hope you love yourself a lot. And as you learn to love yourself more, just know that you're awesome. The deeper you go, whatever traumas, whatever negative things you've got going on, just know they're necessary for you to realize, literally, like, just actually realize how awesome you truly are. Like, all your negative emotions are there for you to learn about how awesome you truly are, so that you can always ascend. Like the infinite individual you know you are meant to be. Like, you look limited. You know, you're in a body, but like, you didn't come here to be limited. What? Did you really come into life to be limited? Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. No way. I think not. So I'm about to peace out. Go get this creativity time in. Stay awesome. Don't be scared of the dark. The dark is your best friend. The dark makes all of your light possible. Your feelings make your thoughts possible. Your woman makes your man possible. So connecting with yourself is the best thing that you could ever possibly do for the entire universe. So that includes your personal universe for your soul, as well as all the souls connected to you, which is the universe. Much love. Mwah. Mwah.